So I just wanted to tell you guys how the final motorcycle safety class went. And no, this is not my victory ride or anything. I have my daughter for the rest of the weekend, so I won't be able to ride until she goes off to school on Monday. So I thought I'd just take some footage from one of my rides last week that you guys haven't seen yet and do a voiceover on it just so I could give you guys an update on how this went. And I want to thank everybody for the encouragement that they gave me and for believing in me. I was really nervous before the class, and I'm not sure that I was believing in myself. And actually on the test I did make a few mistakes, but not enough to fail the test. Today it was raining again, and so they didn't judge anybody as critically on the test as they normally would have. They told us beforehand that they weren't going to judge as hard as they normally would due to the conditions of the range. We had one person in the class that failed and one person that showed up late to class, and they told him that he couldn't come into the range and that he would have to take the whole class over again. So for those of you who haven't taken it yet and are looking to take it, do not be late for any of your classes. They will turn you away. We started the day with the figure 8 exercise and then the tight S turn, and I've been practicing the figure 8s with my own bike. But once again, I had difficulty keeping their little cruiser thing stable. I had the same bike I had last week, which was a Kawasaki Eliminator. Somebody else told me that some of the classes have a Suzuki TU250, which is a standard bike and has the foot controls below the seat, like you would see more like on a crotch rocket or something. They only had one of those, and one of the guys got to it first, so I was stuck with the same bike I had last week. So made do with it. And on the figure 8s, I found it really hard not to look down because I was unfamiliar with the bike. I kept wanting to see if my foot was on the pedal correctly or where my hands were, where I was going with the bike, because I felt like I couldn't keep it stable like with my own bike. Let's see, the first time through the figure 8 box, I did put my foot down and went way outside of the box. The S turn is not very hard. I managed to keep the bike within the lines on that one. And then they had the cone set up in a zigzag pattern again. I told you guys about that in my last vlog. I got my own cones and I practiced doing this in the parking lot with my own bike. You can pick up cones like at Walmart or Kmart or something in the sporting goods section if you want to try this on your own, for those of you who have not taken the class yet. And so I had been practicing all week in the morning in a parking lot. And this time when we did this exercise, last time when we went through it, you were following everybody in a line. This time you got to go through it one at a time. And I found that easier. I could go at my own pace a little faster. That kept the bike more stable, and I found it a lot easier to, dive through the cones. So that wasn't too hard. And then we did some cornering exercises. You started out, you went around a corner, then you went down a long straightaway and made another corner. And they kept saying to take the corners faster, and I was nervous because the pavement was wet. And finally, I was able to do them as fast as they wanted, and I got some lean on that little cruiser that made my heart jump a bit. I'm used to that on my own bike, how far I can lean it over so far in a turn, but how far that little cruiser could lean over was kind of surprising. And then we did a swerving exercise, and you went straight down the range, and then they told you to swerve right or left. And that was easy for me. I've done swerving in practice, and I've actually put that into use in real life. So that one was easy for me. Then we did quick stops, which is also easy for me. I've practiced that a lot, and I've used it. Stupid pedestrians running out in the street, let me tell you. But I have used the emergency braking in real life, so that was something that I've done. I've practiced to make sure that I stay sharp on it, and that part was easy for me. Then after we went through all of those exercises, they set up the figure 8 box and a quick stopping on the range, and they let us just ride around and do whatever exercises that we wanted to practice. So tried the figure 8 box a couple of more times. It was only a little more successful, and then they gave us a break. You get a lot of breaks in this class, like 10 to 15 minutes out of every hour or so that is a break, so get plenty of rest, plenty of time to have a drink, a snack, or whatever. And then they told us it was test time, and to make this worse, they had us go in alphabetical order. Now, Shinjae Jun is my nickname, it's not my real name, and we went alphabetical order by last name. My last name begins with an A. So guess who had to run the test first? They started with the figure 8, and I did go outside the box just a little bit on the figure 8, and they told us beforehand that it would not be an automatic failure, and that on the figure 8 box you would lose the least amount of points that you could on any of the exercises if you botched it. So at least I did not do the double whammy of putting my foot down, because you get extra points off if you go outside the box and put your foot down. So that's, if you're going to make a mistake on this, do one or the other, don't do both. And then from the figure 8 box, you went straight down the range and did the swerve exercise. You swerve, and then you brought the bike to a stop once you were straight. That was easy. You know, we did that earlier. That was easy. And then we did the emergency braking. You start at one end of the range and ride down to the other end of the range. You have to get into second gear and get up to a certain speed before crossing the line where you begin braking. And as you brake, you have to downshift. I managed to fuck up the downshift somehow. I guess I didn't give it a full click down, and I found neutral. But I had the shortest stopping distance, I believe, of the entire class. So that was good. And then the last exercise was cornering, and it was the same cornering exercise that we ran earlier in the day. They gave you 2 tries on this one. The first time they did not take off any points for mistakes. The second one they counted. They said I was a little slow on my first run, so I sped it up for the second one, and they said I did good on that. From there, you parked your bike and waited. So since I was first, obviously I was waiting the longest. And then when everyone was done, they kept us waiting for another 10 minutes or so. Well, they went in their little shed office thing and I guess tallied up everybody's score and stamped the permits that they had collected from us earlier in the day. It said that one girl did fail. They called her into the office and talked to her for a few minutes. And then everybody else was standing around thinking that they were going to call us one at a time, but one of my friends who had taken the class and also at the same location that I had taken the class said that they called the failures in one at a time and then told the remaining group that they passed, which is exactly what happened. After she left, they came out and told the rest of us that we had passed, and then they said that they were not going to be giving us our individual scores. They said some had just barely passed and some did very well, but it would be up to us to guess who is who, and that we knew what our strengths and weaknesses were and what we had to work on for ourselves, which I guess is true. You know, I pretty much figured out from the riding exercises what I can work on. So after that, they gave us our permits back, and they have a stamp on them now that says that it's a full license. The DMV will mail you an update card for the license. At least that's how it works in Pennsylvania. And then you keep that with your regular license until your license comes around for renewal. And then they gave us a course completion card, a nice yellow Watch for Motorcycles sticker for the car, and then they gave us a smaller Watch for Motorcycles reflective sticker that you can put on your bike. So that was pretty much it. It was a fun class overall. The instructor for our class was funny as hell. He reminds me of George Carlin, so yeah, he had a lot of jokes about everything and he made it really enjoyable. I know that some of my subscribers are still on their learner's permit, so if any of you guys have questions about the class, feel free to ask me and I'll try and answer them for you. And I guess that's all for now, so I will see you guys next time.